I believe the way to care for your vehicle is to maintain it with a strict standard on preventive maintenance. It seems today that preventive maintenance has become tainted by the manufacturers with their desire to lower the cost of ownership on paper. They boast about their fluids lasting forever and the major components such as transmissions and differentials never require anything. They're totally sealed, leave them alone, don't touch them. They are that good, they just don't need anything. Some manufacturers state that if you put chemicals into the transmission of a fluid flush, warranty will be invalidated. I was talking to a client that wanted to improve battery sales, and that what they said did was bought a tester, and every vehicle that comes into the dealership will be tested for condition. I thought today it might be wise for us to observe some of these trends with one common question in mind. Do you believe? You see, it's my business to study labor up frequencies and how well dealerships present maintenance items with featured benefit advantages. I admit that most dealerships don't even look at labor up frequencies or listen to their advisors make a presentation. This is a sad testimony on how we treat the customers that enter our dealership. I will say, back when I was a fixed ops director many years ago, I would look at battery condition also, but I never recommended batteries due to age. That's the wrong thing. If that battery's over 5 years old and it's getting near the end of its useful life, why wouldn't we recommend it to a customer? It's not a service to them. You see, what happens then, they get a $150 tow bill, $150 tow bill. When they come in, tow-in won't start. We have a technician diagnose it. There's an hour charge. He determines it's the battery, and then the customer's wondering why they have a $400 battery bill. You see, if it was a maintenance replacement, it would have been around $120, $130. But because we didn't recommend it, the customer endures that expense, and then they think you're a crook because of the $400 battery. And then also in their mind, I'll tell you that this is in their mind. If you don't believe, ask some of them, seek them out. They'll tell you. They believe you're a crook, but why wasn't it recommended when they had the vehicle in last month? You see, everything we don't recommend, when something fails, who gets the blame for that? It isn't them because they didn't seek the maintenance. It's the dealership or the service provider for not recommending it before it failed. Dealerships tend to be results driven, so they look at the key performance indicators saying this number's good or this number's bad compared to others in their 20 group. The truth is, I could state to you, key performance indicators are no longer a factor. What really matters isn't that number on a piece of paper, it's the process that your dealership follows on a daily basis. That's what's going to generate the good result or the bad result on a key performance indicator. Get that. It is not the number on a piece of paper, it's the process your dealership follows on a daily basis. If your advisor staff doesn't recommend preventive maintenance items, there is absolutely 0% chance of your key performance indicators being good. I was in a dealership a week or so ago, and the alignment machine didn't have an up-to-date spec in the computer. So the technicians would have to enter the information individually, or, more commonly, use older vehicle alignment specs to keep it simple for them. Either way, with this piece of equipment not having the latest update on software, does anyone believe that technicians want to do alignments there? Do you think the alignment labor operation has a high frequency rate? Likely, every time the advisor sells a newer vehicle alignment, the technicians will grumble about it because it will take longer for them to do that labor operation. It might even come back a few times for the technician to retry the alignment, making the customer feel the dealership is incompetent. It all starts with that question I titled this newsletter. Do you believe? If you believe in preventive maintenance, would you allow your software not to be updated on your alignment machine? Your advisors would recommend transmission and differential services at regular intervals to keep the cars at peak performance and safety. All advisors would understand the importance of preventive maintenance and not be bashful about recommending these items to a customer. If your advisor or technician believes that preventive maintenance is not necessary, I promise you, your key performance indicators are below standards. Why do we allow our advisors and our technicians to buy into the manufacturer's smoke and mirrors on preventive maintenance? I challenge you, go out, reach out to your advisors. Ask them to sell you a maintenance on a differential. Are they mentioning what mileage interval it is? What the price is? What is the feature benefit? You see, a differential might take about $3,000 to overhaul. It might be $150 to change the fluid and maintain it. In my vision, there is no fluid in the vehicle that's better off dirty. Dirt is a friction material. You want that going through your bearings? Anyone that's ever looked at dirty differential fluid, or really dirty any fluid, but let's look at differential, you'll see the little metallic flakes that are in that material. Wouldn't you rather have your customer with a clean fluid? But most resentment from the clients is built up when an item is not recommended and the vehicle has a failure. Recommending preventive maintenance goes way beyond what you believe. You see, the customers that spend the most with you tend to be the best satisfied customers. They're not going to complain when they have a problem. If they declined an item, what irritates, what angers our customers is when it's not noticed or recommended. They don't even have an opportunity to ask why. When it fails, it's your fault. But I really question why we don't have this commitment. Why don't we have the understanding amongst our entire service team? Do you believe? I know that Chrysler, Ford, General Motors, they all have this forever fluid mentality. Preventive maintenance is becoming a couple of words that is tossed away while your warranty work is down. The only thing on the warranty work that's up is the recalls. And if you're not aggressively seeking them, my goodness, start. The cars are better. The fluids are lasting longer. I give you that. I know that I was one of these 3,000-mile oil change people. and now I might be all the way up to 5,000. I promise you one thing, I'm not waiting for the light to come on at 10 or 11,000. And I noticed the Range Rover said, oh, your service is on an annual basis. They don't even have a mileage. Bring it in next year. See you next year. Are your numbers going to be strong? Are your key performance indicators going to be above standards if you don't do any preventive maintenance? And what's absurd, in my view, is that the manufacturers vary so much. Brake fluid, to me, it draws moisture. Yet, all three of the manufacturers I mentioned, the General Motors, the Chrysler, the Ford, they don't even have a maintenance suggestion on brake fluid. It draws moisture. If your brake fluid's over 3% water in it, it should be flushed out. Fresh brake fluid is something I desire in my vehicle. Yet a lot of dealerships today don't even offer it because the manufacturer says it's not needed. If you don't believe in preventive maintenance, how are you going to sell it? Would you slap your personal integrity to sell an item just because it's on a menu or a mileage interval? Or would you actually believe in that maintenance? If you don't believe in it, I challenge you with one question. What's the downside of having clean fluids, a fresh battery, and a car that is safe? Hope everyone has an incredible day. Next week I'll be on vacation, so there'll be no call next week. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks.
We're going to talk about processes that can bring in additional hundreds of thousands of dollars into your dealership. But I want to explain right away, that's not why we do it. We do it because it's the right way to do business. The money follows that. It's the customer's expectation when they bring a vehicle into your dealership that you're going to look the vehicle over and tell them what it needs to be at peak performance. It's our obligation to inform them and educate them every time, every car. The shocking truth is that the staffs at most dealerships don't even recommend or look for what the customer's needs are. One time I was walking through the shop and I was underneath a vehicle where they were doing a brake job repair. And I noticed that the brake lines were so corroded they were unsafe. So I challenged the technician and I asked them, did the customer decline the brake lines? And I was shocked with his answer. He said that he didn't like that type of work, so he never even recommended it. This is not the way to care for a customer. This is not a way to meet our obligation. Can you imagine if that customer's going down the road, has a panic stop on a brake, and the brake lines failed? What would the responsibility be for your dealership to have never even recommended that? One of my own personal regrets is that we never recommended batteries on just a maintenance replacement. Instead, I would wait until the battery failed and they were towed into the dealership. It was $150 for the vehicle to be towed in. Then we had to have a technician diagnose it, determine it's a battery, and then replace that battery. The customer doesn't understand why it took $350 to replace that battery when Walmart puts it in for 85 bucks. The sad truth is that we failed that customer because we should have recommended it before it failed. Isn't that what preventative maintenance is all about? The mission is to inform and educate the customer every time, every car, what that vehicle needs to be in peak performance. I want to talk to you about an incident that changed my viewpoint on this dramatically. An advisor came up to me one time and asked if I would get involved with an elderly lady sitting in the waiting area. The repairs on her vehicle cost more than the vehicle was worth. So I went in and I explained that she should go over to the used car department, pick something out, and instantly tears welled up in her eyes. And she said, "Can you fix it? Can you fix it?" I said, "Yes, we can repair the vehicle, but it doesn't make financial sense." And she said, "Fix it. Because you see, that was my husband's car, and he passed away last year, and when I drive it, I feel closer to him." She fixed that vehicle because she understood the value of it greater than I did. You see, that changed my view on all of this. All my mission was to tell her what was wrong with the vehicle. You need to establish a culture that says, every time, every car, I'm going to tell the customer what their vehicle needs to be at peak performance. That's the commitment. That is our obligation, to inform and educate. Make that your mission.